It's with great pleasure that I welcome back Dr. Sean Patel, who's the CEO and founder of Prep Expert, the title sponsor of the College Admissions Process podcast. Sean, you have a special message for the listeners?
Hey, John, I just wanted to mention for all the parents and students who are listening to this great podcast, we have a really special offer only for listeners of the College Admissions Process podcast for Prep Expert. So if your student is going to be taking an online SAT, ACT, PSAT course anytime soon, or is looking for one-on-one tutoring with top 1% tutors, head over to prepexpert.com. We offer live online courses for every college admissions exam. On top of that, we have the best score guarantees, best curriculum, and best instructors in the test prep industry. And just for listeners of the College Admissions Process podcast, you can get 20% off any online SAT or PSAT or ACT course, as well as one-on-one tutoring. So you can get 20% off. Just make sure you use the promo code College Talk. That's one word, College Talk, and you'll get 20% off just for listeners of the College Admissions Process podcast. And I hope you guys can use that to your advantage, save a bunch of money at prepexpert.com.
Thank you so much, Sean. And to everyone out there, once again, that promo code is College Talk. That's one word, College Talk. Thank you all, and best wishes. Welcome to The Cap, where we are here to speak with college reps and other professionals in the field of college admissions to help answer all your questions and guide you through every step of the process. So if you're serious about college admissions, you've come to the right place. Are you ready? Let's talk about it. And now, here's your host, Dr. John Durante. Welcome to The Cap, the College Admissions Process podcast. I am your host, John Durante, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome back Joelle Rankins Goodwin, who's the Senior Associate Director for Recruitment and Outreach at the University of Oregon. Joelle, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate you. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you, John, for having me back again.
It is my pleasure. And the last time we featured the University of Oregon with you on the podcast, Joelle, was episode 173, which was released back in November of 2023. Time certainly flies when you're having fun, as they say. So, Joelle, what exciting updates, new initiatives, or changes have taken place on campus since then?
Well, one of the big things that I wanted to tell you about is the Ballmer Institute for Children's Behavioral Health. So we're located in Eugene, Oregon. 2 hours to our north is Portland. That's the largest city in Oregon. And we bought an old college campus in the heart of Northeast Portland. Along with that came a very large and grateful donation from Steve and Connie Ballmer. They have the Ballmer Group Philanthropy. Remember, Steve Ballmer's a former CEO of Microsoft, owner of the LA Clippers, and then Connie is the University of Oregon graduate, and they have been wonderful in their philanthropy to the University of Oregon. So I think I may have mentioned that the Ballmer Institute was coming the last time we talked, but it is now open. And so it is a major in children's behavioral health. It is a 4-year program. Those students will spend part of their time at our Portland campus as they're getting that major. What the Ballmer Institute has done is created, the first undergraduate degree in children's behavioral health. And what it's supposed to do is to help equip students to be a part of the next generation of mental health professionals. Our students will have the opportunity to spend the over 700 hours of supervised community-based practice in Portland Public Schools, K through 12. And they'll be working directly in schools and communities and settings. Clinical professors will provide the undergraduates with applied training. And so that's something that we're really, really excited about. It's a beautiful campus and a great opportunity for our students.
Well, you should definitely be very excited about the fact that you purchased an old college campus along with a substantial donation, which created the Balmer Institution. And as you know, Joelle, the University of Oregon offers a lot of other unique opportunities like your Clark Honors College, the Lundquist College of Business, and its renowned School of Journalism and Communication, and so much more. So, can you talk about how all of these programs shape the academic experience for your students?
Absolutely. So, Robert D. Clark Honors College, also known as CHC. So we love to talk about the Honors College. It is one of the oldest honors colleges in the United States. Our median class size is about 19, something 19 or 20, right? And so with the Honors College is geared towards those high achieving students, those students that really, really want to challenge themselves. The classes are going to be even smaller. You're going to start with a cohort. Currently, there are about 1,300 students in the Robert D. Clark Honors College. You're majoring in whatever you want to major in, and you are but you're taking your classes are within the honors college. And so each year, we have a wonderful cohort of students that graduate. They finish up. They have, in order to graduate from the honors college, they have a thesis that's due, so they are published when they graduate. The business school is our largest. The Lundquist College of Business is our largest school within the University of Oregon, the largest student population, most popular, absolutely the most popular major. Um, we've changed things up in the last couple of years. Everyone came in as a pre-business major. They spent their first 2 years doing prerequisite courses. We now have a direct admit program. Once they apply to the University of Oregon, their application is read once, then their application is read a second time to see if we think that they are ready to go straight into the business school. Otherwise, everybody else is just like before you come in as a pre-business major. Journalism school, near and dear to my heart. When I graduated from the University of Oregon, we didn't actually have a journalism school, but I got a journalism degree. I got a degree in telecommunications and film. And so they've come a long way. Also, they've just really grown. And what they have to offer to our students is just great state-of-the-art equipment, working at some of our local stations, interning at some of our local TV and radio stations, and things like that. And I will just mention, since I mentioned the word intern, so we often get asked if we offer internships at the University of Oregon. And absolutely, across the board, no matter what your major is, and it's not just here in Eugene, it's not just in Oregon. We're talking about the possibilities of internships across the United States and around the world.
Well, that's terrific. You talked earlier about the Balmer Institute. You talk about your Clark Honors College, Lundquist Business School, and of course, the journalism school that you're so proud of. And so it really does sound like you have something for everyone. And with Oregon joining the Big Ten Conference, by the way, there's a lot of buzz around the athletics. But beyond sports, Joelle, what does being part of the Big Ten mean for students in terms of academic collaboration, research opportunities, and of course, student life?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm so glad you asked that question because it really is exciting to be in the Big Ten. And yes, it is so much more than the athletics. We are now a part of what's called the Big Ten Academic Alliance. And for instance, I went in May back to New Jersey. And we all met, all of the admissions folks from around the Big Ten got together for this conference. And so I sat in a room with a bunch of folks who lead recruitment at their schools. My boss, the director, she sat in a room with all of the directors from the Big Ten. Our research and assessment team sat in a room with people, just like, and then our multicultural recruitment, and we all got together and we talked about what's going on, what's going right, what's not going so well, and we collaborated, brainstormed, about how to make things better, how to do, it, just it's a really great opportunity to be a part of the Big Ten academic alliance. Like you said, outside of the athletics, there this is the only conference that has an organization like this.
Right. Right. And that's awesome. And as you put it, Big Ten, it's so much more than just the athletics. There's a lot of collaboration and sharing. And I appreciate you talking about the conference. You mentioned the recent one in New Jersey where everyone is collaborating and talking about all the things that are going right, things that are frankly needing improvement. And so working together, right? There's strength in numbers. So I think it's an amazing cohort. So we appreciate you giving us that insight. And of course, so many of our listeners, they want to know about that holistic review process, Joelle. So can you walk us through the University of Oregon's admissions review process? How holistic is it? And what are the key elements that admissions offices focus on when reviewing those applications?
Sure. So your application comes in. First person's going to read it. They're going to look through it probably relatively quickly. They're looking for any mistakes. They're looking to see if anything is missing. If it is missing, that application, now we do read by territory. And so just so folks know, my territories are New York, New Jersey, and Hawaii. And so your application comes in from a school in New York. It's missing something. I'm missing something. I need that. So that application is going to come to me as your territory manager. And then I'm going to reach out to that student and say, hey, we really need this from you. If it doesn't require anything, then it gets moved on for that holistic read. We are looking for, yes, we look at your GPA, but we're also looking at any extracurricular activities that you may be taking part in. Now, if you're using the common application allows for 10 different activities, right? At the University of Oregon, all we ask for is 3. But you can fill as many of that 10 in as you would like to. So activities, not just looking at clubs and organizations that you're in school. That's working a job. That is any volunteer time you may be doing. That's, maybe you have to go home and take care of a little brother or sister. You can't afford to play on the basketball team. And so we consider all of these things activities. Talk to me about those activities. Talk to me about what you got out of those activities, and things like that. Other things that we're looking at as far as holistic review goes, the essay. We have the 650 word or less essay to write. There are 2 other optional essays that we look at. So we're looking at all of those things. But we're also looking at grade trends, right? Did you start out slow your freshman year and maybe work your way into rock star status by your senior year? Maybe it was vice versa. Maybe you started out a rock star and you took your foot off the gas your senior year. Or maybe you had an up and down grade trend. Upward grade trends are really, really good. Downward grade trends, not so good.
Right. Clearly, upward grade trends are good. Those going down are not so good. But what I would add to that is that if there is a dip in your grades, students, take it upon yourself somewhere throughout that application to explain why. Maybe something happened to you. Maybe something happened in the family. Don't just ignore something like a downward grade trend, because if you do, then you're leaving it up to the professionals like Joelle to speculate as to why. So you talked about how you review applications. There's a first read by territory, and you talked about how it's simply just to make sure that everything is in the application. If in fact something is missing, it's nice to hear that you reach out to students just to say, hey, you missed X, Y, or Z, which is awesome. During the second read, of course, you're looking through that GPA, but you're also looking at activities. You said that Oregon wants you to list 3, but of course you can list up to 10, which is typical on the Common App. But I really appreciated how you talked about working a job or having to get home to take care of a younger sibling, to list those things under the umbrella of activities. It's so important that you mention that because, again, students, whatever you don't share, you're leaving it up to the admissions professional to speculate as to why. So if you have to get home or you have to work, that might be the reason why you're not on an athletic team or you're not participating in 3, 4, or 5 activities. So it's very important to be mindful of all of the parts of the application, what they are intended to mean, how they should complement each other, but also build upon the next. So we really appreciate that, Joelle. And for students applying early action versus regular decision, are there any notable differences in how applications are evaluated? And what advice would you offer to students considering an early application to Oregon?
Great question. Now, the University of Oregon is an early action school. And we do early action as opposed to early decision. We do early action. That means that your decision, once made, is non-binding. You still have until the 1st of May, national intent to register deadline. The difference for us between early action and regular decision, it's all about the student. It's all about you and what you want. It does not matter to us if you apply early or regular. Or you're applying early action because, well, early action is apply by the 1st of November, get a response by 15 December. All right. And so early action is, hey, I'm applying to the University of Oregon early because I want to find out as soon as possible if I'm going to get in. And so it's really, yeah, it's all about the student, and it really has no bearing on our decision on that student or anything.
Fantastic. So no bearing on the decision. I'm going to just ask also with merit-based scholarships, there's no bearing on that as well.
No, it's
Fantastic.
not at all.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And of course, when it comes to evaluating the GPA and the coursework, which you mentioned earlier, does the University of Oregon recalculate GPAs? And either way, how do you assess honors, AP curriculum, IB curriculum, or even dual enrollment coursework within the context of each student's high school? Because I know you're getting applications from thousands of schools. So give us some insight there, Joelle, please.
Sure. We do recalculate GPAs. We use what's known as the self-reported academic record, or SRAR, as we call it. And we started recalculating a lot. And John, you probably know this. A lot of folks might not, though. Across the nation, around the world, all the schools have different grading criteria. Some people are on a 100 scale. Some folks are on the ABCD scale. Some people are on no scale at all because they don't offer grades. And we just run into all kinds of things. So what we have done is we're recalculating to put our students on an more even playing field, I guess you could say. We do, like I said, we recalculate the GPA. But again, we take into account all of those other things, the GPA and activities and stuff like that. AP, IB, we do accept. I understand that we're pretty generous as far as AP scores go. We do 3, 4s, and 5s. And dual enrollment, for the most part, you can never guarantee that another college's credits are going to transfer in, but by and large, we do take, if a student's been doing dual credit courses, running start, as some schools call it, we will usually take them.
Well, we appreciate that. And I'm assuming now when you recalculate the GPA, you're looking just at the core subject areas, or are you looking at everything?
We're looking at the subject areas.
Fantastic. Thank you for that clarification. And Joelle, I know the University of Oregon, like so many other schools, is in fact test optional. Do you have any insights in terms of helping students decide whether or not to submit SAT or ACT scores as part of their overall application?
Sure. So I will tell you, as far as the U of O goes, we went test optional. I think it was before COVID, just before, or maybe it was during COVID, and we will remain so. And I often get asked at when I'm out and about at college fairs and things like that is, well, what's your average test score that you're looking for? And I tell them I can't tell you because we get so few the standardized tests, the SAT and the ACT. So what I tell folks is And this is just Joelle. This is not anything written in stone. This is not be on behalf of the University of Oregon. This is how I feel when I'm looking at it. And that is, let's say you are a really good student. You've got that 4.1 something or other, right?
Hmm.
Why it costs money every time you want to send in a test, right? Why spend the money? If you are really, really good at standardized tests and you're only so-so GPA, maybe you want to consider sending in your test scores. But that's kind of why that's kind of how I go look at it I can't tell you what the average is, and if you do send it in, it does not negate what you've got. You're still we won't hold it against you if you do send your test scores and it does in they're low. It's not held against you.
Understood. So you have like a no harm policy, which is great to hear in terms of whether or not students submit or not. And, you mentioned the average test score, which is difficult to give because fewer students are submitting. But I'll also add to that even if you gave that mid 50%, those numbers are skewed because really only students that are scoring higher than they perhaps did 10 years ago are submitting. So you just have to be aware, students, of all of those nuances. And of course, there's those things called the essays and the letters of recommendation. So, Joelle, how do essays and letters of recommendation factor into the University of Oregon's application process? And what are the qualities you hope to see reflected in these more narrative components?
Sure. So we do not require letters of recommendation. We get sent lots of them. Um, and so again, if you are that really high achieving student, there's not a blemish or anything on your file, on your transcript. I mean, you can send the letter in, but you don't really need to. If you think you need a little bit of a boost, if there, and I can't even, I'm trying to pinpoint what that might be, but if you feel you need a little bit of a boost and you have a counselor or a teacher that can really advocate for you and talk about what a good and capable student you are, then go ahead and send it in, because I will turn and look at those. Don't make me wonder. It kind of goes back to something you said earlier about if somebody has a dip in their grades and they don't tell me about it. Don't make me wonder. Don't make me wonder. If you've got someone that can send in a good letter for you, and really again advocate for you, then go ahead and do it. As far as the essays go, 650 word or less essay, and we want to learn more about you. All right, we want share share information that we're not going to find anywhere else on the in the application, right? So tell us a little bit about you, or something really. If there's something exciting that you want to tell us about, your ambitions, your goals, any special talents, unusual extracurricular activities, any significant experiences that may have influenced your life. There is a prompt, but you don't have to use that prompt. You can again write about whatever you want to.
Well, that's awesome. I really appreciate the insight. And the advice that I give students many times is if they're going to ask a teacher or a counselor for a letter of recommendation, just to help the teacher not regurgitate or repeat what's on the transcript or easily found on an activity sheet. Students, if there's something that happened in class, perhaps an initiative, a project that you did was really off the charts, and you think that having the teacher write about that specific thing is going to add to your overall application without just repeating what's on a transcript or on an activity sheet, don't be shy to ask the teacher if they can write about that. Is that good advice, Joelle, do you think? Because that, I would imagine, is going to help the overall package if someone writes about something that is not clearly found on other
Right.
parts of the application. What do you think?
100%, John, 100%. I guess another small piece of advice is make sure that that teacher or counselor actually knows you,
Right.
right?
Right.
Make sure they're going to give you a good recommendation. They can say something, and you would be surprised. John, you probably wouldn't be surprised, but folks would be surprised at they ask for someone to write them a letter of recommendation, and it's not great, and they don't realize it because they don't get to see it. So make sure you know the person and they know you that's writing that recommendation.
I think that's great advice. You definitely want someone who really knows you students intimately to write. Otherwise, what's going to happen is by default, they're going to really just repeat what's on your transcript. You know, he was in my English class. He's an excellent student. Well, you have an A plus in English on your transcript, so no new information there. Oh, and he was in my journalism club. Well, that's listed on the activity sheet. Nothing new there. So back to the point that we said earlier, if there's something more, something new, something that will add to the overall application, don't be shy to ask the teacher to write about that specific thing. Now, roughly how many students, Joelle, are in your incoming first year class, and how do institutional goals such as supporting Oregon residents, promoting geographic diversity, or increasing first gen enrollment influence your overall enrollment strategies?
Yeah, great question. So we about just over 5,000 students this past fall, about 20,000 undergraduate students. And then as far as residency goes, we're about 50-50 resident versus Oregon residents versus non-vet resident. Promoting geographic diversity. Geographic diversity is one of the things that we're actually kind of proud of. We've got students from every state in the United States and our territories. We've got well over 100 students representing well over 100 countries. And we do that with varying programs. I have a multicultural recruitment a senior assistant director for multicultural recruitment, who has a team that are doing those kind of multicultural events. I have a Native American and Indigenous recruitment coordinator, and they go across the country, but really the 9 tribes that make up the state of Oregon, really working with them. So I guess overall, we're all, even though we have those specialty areas, each of my admissions counselors, there's 26 or 27 of us now, are out there with the idea on we want to help the University of Oregon to achieve their goal of being a more diverse and welcoming institution.
Well, thank you so much for that. And, you know, another important thing that people want to hear about, and we touched upon it briefly earlier when we talked about merit-based scholarship, but it's really financial aid in general. So, Joel, can you break down how financial aid works at the University of Oregon, including need-based aid, merit scholarships, and the Oregon Promise program, and how students can best position themselves for these supports?
Sure. So, financial aid in general, students, know you got to go out and fill out the FAFSA in order to get that federal money. But here at the University of Oregon, we do have several merit-based scholarships. Solely on GPA, like as I said, we are not we are test optional, and so several merit-based scholarships. They are the Apex, the Summit, the Excellence. Those are 3 main merit-based scholarships. And any and every student that applies and meets that GPA requirement will get that scholarship. You as long as the student maintains a 3.0 or better, they'll get that scholarship each year. We have what is called the Oregon Guarantee. The Oregon Guarantee is something we're really proud of. I think we've been doing it for about 5 years now. The Oregon Guarantee says that whatever tuition is when you start at the University of Oregon, that is your tuition frozen for up to 5 years. 5 years because we have some 5-year programs. A lot of people may not realize if you're doing the college search, you may apply to a college, you may get accepted to a college, you look and you see that's your tuition, but for the next 4 years, Your tuition could be raised 2, 3, 4, 5% or more. What we're saying at the University of Oregon is your tuition is guaranteed and locked in for up to 5 years.
Well, that's great insights. Thank you so much. And, you know, another thing that students and families want to hear about, in addition to the financial supports, is other academic supports. So, what academic support programs, first year experiences, or student success resources are available to help students transition successfully from all those high schools to college life at the University of Oregon?
So we have I'll talk about a couple of them, but we have a lot, quite a few support programs. And one of I don't know if I said this to you the last time, and I'll keep it short. Uh, but
Hmm.
when I graduated from the University of Oregon back in 1986, I wasn't coming back. I was not, I was a bad student coming in out of high school. My first quarter at the University of Oregon, I had an academic advisor that allowed me to sign up for 21 credit hours.
Wow.
As not a good, and I was
Way
not
too
a good
much.
student. Yeah, exactly. So by the end of my first quarter, it was incomplete, withdraw, F, D, etc. I tell this story only because there's no reason for a student to suffer and just struggle like I did as a student at the University of Oregon. We have come a long way since 1986.
Hmm.
We have a program called the Center for Multicultural and Academic Excellence. CMAE is a place where students can feel empowered, engaged, and have nurtured success. And so that's right here. You can just in Oregon Hall, where I am right now, they can go down and get help in any number of ways. We also have what's called an academic success hub, and that provides a variety of academic resources such as tutoring, advising, workshops, targeted study sessions, and peer coaching. We have a financial literacy advisor. And that has nothing to do with teaching you about becoming a financier. That's about teaching you how to spend your money in a good way, how and working with your tuition and all of that kind of stuff. So we also have the Accessible Education Center. That's the AEC. So if a student struggles with dyslexia, if a student needs extra time taking tests, test anxiety, any kind of disability, anything like that, we've got the Accessible Education Center that is there to help our students. So those are just a few of the programs that we have that are available to support our students.
Well, clearly you have so many supports to help your students both inside and outside of the classroom. Now, Joelle, I think you know that I always put the Office of Undergraduate Admissions linked into the podcast episode show notes. If there are any other links or information that you want to share, just send them to me, and of course, we'll make them available to our listeners. So, Joelle, as I knew, this has been a tremendous conversation. Unfortunately, it does lead us to that last question, which is, what are your top 3 pieces of advice that you would provide students and their families getting ready for the college admissions process?
Great question. I three. Well, actually, I got 2. I only have 2 for you.
That's fine.
Okay, but the first one is parents, let your kids spread their wings. I have the parents and the student who were in my office just yesterday, I guess it was. Lovely folks. And this young woman, she knew what she was going to do. She came in, she asked the questions. Her parents just kind of joked with me and we had a great time, right? But then there's that reverse with the student that sits there and doesn't say anything, and the parents carry the entire conversation. Parents, let your students spread their wings. Let them talk, because pretty soon they're going to be away from you. They're going to be gone. And they won't have you right there to answer those questions. So let them spread their wings. My other piece of advice, John, I'm sure that this is what I told you the exact same thing the last time I was here. Scholarships. College is expensive, all righty? And no, just about, unless you're lucky and you get a free ride somewhere, I think those are kind of few and far between. You need to be researching scholarships right now. One of my favorite websites is fastweb.com. They offer scholarships, and scholarships.com. So fastweb.com and scholarships.com. You go in, you build a profile, you tell them about you, and then they provide you with scholarships that you may be eligible to apply for. Your local service clubs, Rotary International, Seroptimus, the Lions International. Check your neighborhoods, check those clubs. They may give out scholarships, $200, $300, $500, $1,000. It all adds up. Nothing breaks my heart more than when I talk to a student or a parent on the phone. They've been accepted and they look at what the cost is and they can't afford it. It breaks my heart. Scholarships, scholarships, scholarships. Start now searching for those scholarships. That's all I got for you, John.
Well, that's a lot. And I really appreciate you talking about fastweb.com and scholarships.com, which of course I'll link into the show notes. And one thing that I'll add, that a rep said quite a few months back, she said, look at it as a part-time job in terms of doing your research, use these websites. There's also others. And really, like you said, whether it's 200, 500, 1,000, whatever it is, it all adds up and it'll really help you. And it was so sad, the story that you said, but I've heard that often in the podcast episodes. So it's very important, I think, for each student and their families to use what's called the net price calculator for each college or university. And it's as simple as saying, net price calculator, University of Oregon, use that search, and then be truthful in that platform in terms of giving your information. And that will give you a fair determination in terms of what you'll actually pay if you go to the University of Oregon or whatever school that you choose simply by doing a Google search. So I think those are tremendous pieces of advice, and hopefully the listeners will take our advice and do those things. So Joelle, thank you so much for coming back. Obviously, the University of Oregon is so lucky to have you, as were we. You're awesome, Joelle. I really appreciate you.
Thanks so much, John.
It is our pleasure. And to everyone out there, good luck with the college search. Take care all, and best wishes. Thank you for joining us on this episode of The CAP, the College Admissions Process Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please don't forget to tell a friend and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. I am your host, John Durante, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of The CAP. Thank you for listening to the College Admissions Process Podcast presented by Prep Expert. Prep Expert offers live online SAT and ACT courses with the best score guarantees, instructors, and curriculum. Go to prepexpert.com to guarantee your child's success.